All right, so I am good to go if you want to start a
Yeah.
conversation. So I am now
Why don't you pick?
recording.
Why don't you pick the starting topic, or do you want me to? Because I contacted you.
You contacted me, so let's go from there.
All right. So I saw you on your thing about Andrew Gillum. You
Okay.
had mentioned that if he was doing meth in a hotel room with a gay prostitute having an orgy, that makes you kind of like him more. Um,
Sounds about right. That sounds like something I would say.
what what makes you think that that type of behavior is positive?
Okay, so real quick, just for
I understand it's a
clarity's
joke.
sake, can you give me like a label that you closely identify with so I can just.
That's difficult. I'm not like a. I guess I'm more conservative than I am a leftist. That's for sure. But I mean, I hate them both.
Okay.
It's difficult. I'm not a centrist though either. Like, um, I don't know. I hate everything and everybody.
Okay. Okay. All right. So why do I think being in a gay meth orgy is positive? I just think it's
Yeah.
cool. Like, I don't know, that's the
Right.
coolest thing I've ever seen a politician do in a while.
Right. But like those people who are doing those things are very damaged individuals. I mean, there's nothing good about that.
What's not
Um.
good about it?
Well,
Like,
there's just nothing good.
inherently? Like, I don't know. I know that there was a lot of details released about the Andrew Gillum thing. I didn't
Well, it's
bother
not
looking
even
at it
that.
because I don't give a
I'm talking
shit.
about.
But,
It's not even Andrew Gillum really. I'm more talking about
yeah,
like
like,
the
what's
philosophy.
inherently bad?
Yeah, right. You don't think it was inherently bad?
What, to do meth? Or to be in a gay orgy? Or all of the
Just
above?
the entire situation, yeah.
I, I don't care.
Right, but that's the thing is you should care because
Hello?
here's yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of how to word what I'm saying.
Okay, no problem.
Um Individuals who engage in high risk behavior, drug use, gambling, um gay orgies in hotel rooms, that type of behavior is high risk.
What if they weren't gay? What if there were like men and women present? What if they're
Sure.
heterosexual orgies? Is that still high risk?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you're not saying it's specifically because it's gay.
No, I don't care
Okay. All right.
personally.
Go on.
Um but the thing is that behavior is incredibly high risk. Those people who engage in that behavior are doing so out of to cope with a certain behavior or trauma or mental like issue. There's nothing good or positive about it. Those people need help. Those people are hurting, and they're doing that to compensate for that hurt.
So, do you support a Medicare for all system?
No, absolutely not. Why would why?
Okay,
Why?
so you're decrying people for doing things to cope, and then you say they need help, but then you don't want them to have help? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. Like, I get I get free healthcare from states. Like, I like the healthcare system as it is,
Wait,
and
hold the phone for a second. So, you said you get free healthcare from what?
the state.
Okay, so free for you, but no for nobody else. Is that the
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they can also apply for whatever I have.
apply?
If yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, like, how do you think you? Well, first of all, I don't know anything about health insurance. I don't. I don't know anything about it whatsoever. So I'll be the first person to admit that I don't know a fucking thing about health insurance. But here's what I do know. Um, when I got released from prison, they signed me up for a like a health plan through the state, which is like the general purpose health plan. And I that was 3 years ago, or no, it wasn't. That was like 6 or 7 years ago. But the point is that I haven't talked to anybody about it in 3 years, and I go to the doctor whenever I want, and everything's paid for. Nobody talks to me about money whatsoever, or ask me anything about finances or what anything. I can just go and get whatever I need done for free because I have this healthcare plan from the state, and I really like it.
Okay, so that's good for you, but if other people want that, then they shouldn't be able to have it.
Well, I don't want to give up what I have for other people
Well,
to
how?
maybe have something.
Okay, and for a Medicare for all system, what would you give up?
What I have now.
Like, how? What are you giving up though? Like, what do you have now that you wouldn't have under a Medicare for all system? Like the
Healthcare.
little like card that you have in your wallet. Like, what exactly are you giving up?
That I'm giving up that card.
Are you like a card collector? Because I collect
No,
Yu-Gi-Oh
no.
cards.
I
Like, do
like the
you?
card because when I go to the doctor, it works, and it's very seamless. I haven't talked to anybody about
So,
it in
so,
years.
so you want exclusive access. So you want to have healthcare at the
No,
expense of other people. Well, that's what that
no,
card represents, though.
no, it doesn't. Listen,
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm sure that other people can apply for the same exact plan that I have.
So, okay, hold the phone. So you say you're sure that other people can apply,
Yeah, of course.
but then you also say you don't know anything about health insurance.
Well,
So,
do you
okay,
think that other people can't apply?
yeah, I think if anyone could apply for free healthcare at the point of service, regardless of what it is, I think that everyone would have that system.
Well, obviously, it's not everyone. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you want healthcare for you at the expense of other people. You want other
Well,
people not to have healthcare so that you can go to the doctor for free.
okay, first of all, yes, obviously, if you want to frame it that way, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But that's an incredibly negative way of framing it.
Well, that's because it
the
is
thing is-
negative and that kills people.
Well,
So,
I'm sorry, but we can't heal everybody in the world. Like, not everybody can have free healthcare.
why not?
But because like some people can afford healthcare, some people are in other situations where they get healthcare through a different system, and it's like I don't want to give up what I have, my free health, so that people who don't need it can get it.
Well, if they don't need it, why would they get it? Okay, so let me
Because
backtrack a bit here. We're talking about people that are drug addicts and that engage in high risk behavior, and you said that they need help. So should they be allowed to have free healthcare at the point of service?
well, it depends on their situation. If they don't have any income, or if they're very low income, or if they're in a bad situation, then yeah, they should probably be able to get but it's a case by case basis, obviously. But here's the thing: why burn it all down for a pipe dream?
What are we burning down?
The current system.
What
Do you think
what
that
what's
do you think
define
that my
the
system is going to stay in place if we get Medicare for all?
Define the system, like going through your insurance provider and putting your shiny card in front of the table? Like, is that the
Yeah.
system? Or is the
Yeah.
system talking to your doctor and having them diagnose your problems?
No, the system is the shiny card.
So you're just like, do you collect Pokemon cards too?
No. Listen, here's the thing: when I go to the doctor, they just do what I need.
Yeah,
That's pretty sweet. I like that.
at the expense of other people. So when you do that,
Well,
other people are dying as a result.
But yes, other people die. Other people get sick. We can't we have people flooding across the border in record numbers. Like, do you know how much that costs? Like, we're losing our healthcare facilities because of the overwhelming number of uninsured people who get free healthcare. Like, they are having to shut down facilities all across the country because immigrants who come across the border don't have health insurance and just get free healthcare.
So would a better idea be funding those places so that they don't have to shut down? Wouldn't that be a good idea? Use government funds to fund those facilities?
No, that wouldn't be a good idea.
So we shouldn't fund facilities?
Well, not if That's not where we need to address the problem. There's a different problem there.
Okay.
The facilities can stay open under normal circumstances.
Okay. So, is it only because of these illegal aliens, or like if we just erase them from the equation and say you need to present a social security number and then you get free healthcare at the point of service? How would you feel about that?
Well, there's a lot of social security fraud that goes
Okay,
on.
well, just any other forms of identification.
Sure.
Photo
I'm not trying
ID, social security number, whatever.
Sure.
American citizen is the point.
Yeah, okay. I'm not trying to be overly harsh here or difficult. No. So American citizens, they show up, they prove they're American citizen, they get free healthcare.
Yeah, would you be okay with that?
It all depends on how many people are going to be using it and what the situation is. Can you extrapolate on that?
So my theory here is the main thing is preventative care. Most people don't know that they have problems, and they go to the doctor when those problems are too late or have generated more issues. For example, say you've got cancer, and it starts off in one lung and then it goes to the other lung. Well, if you had preventative care, you would know when it starts, and thus you wouldn't have to deal with having, say, chemotherapy or operations on multiple body parts and so forth, which gets more and more expensive. Other things like, having people have dietitians follow them, like, guidelines on what they should eat and how they should eat, would also be very, very useful in preventative care.
I mean, but what's this going to cost overall?
I don't know. What does it
Do you have
cost now?
any idea?
Do you have any
Like,
idea
what
what
do
it
you
costs
think?
now?
No, I have no clue.
Okay.
But what is it going to how much is it going to increase the cost to give everybody free health?
It depends. There's the idea is that it costs less. One, because you remove administrative fees. You don't need to mail out those shiny Pokemon cards you get in your wallet. Those are just completely eradicated.
Wait, did you say it costs less?
It costs less if you remove administrative fees of health insurance. It's actually about $400 billion a year.
Now you're just lying.
Okay.
It doesn't cost less. I need to see your sources.
So you're saying if you don't print out paperwork, then you won't save money?
Not enough to account for giving everybody free healthcare.
Well, I'm going through the whole thing. Again, preventative care is a big thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, but preventative care isn't always effective because these individuals don't want to do preventative care.
Well, who are these individuals? Why are you speaking for other people?
The individuals who are in hospital, sick, needing preventative care. The general populace.
You're gonna have to be more specific. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just
Are you saying the people right now that don't have preventative care would not have or be not interested, or
Correct.
So we shouldn't improve society because people are alive
We're
right
not
now?
going to improve society. We're going to ruin it. Listen, there's
listening.
a delicate. I have a new direction that I'm going to take this in.
Feel free.
Right now because America hangs in a delicate balance right now. Things are not good. When I look around, I see something that cannot last.
You and me both?
So I am so scared for the future of this country that to start doing ridiculous fantasies like giving everybody free healthcare.
A ridiculous fantasy that works in almost every other country on the planet?
It's do you understand that people pay money and it subsidizes the healthcare program so that we can give free healthcare to me?
Who? What? Start
So
over?
when right now how it is, so people who can afford it, like the companies that employ workers and like people who make a lot of money and they don't qualify for the free stuff like I do, those people are subsidizing my healthcare.
So do you understand the concept of a risk pool?
No.
So insurance works based on a risk pool system. The idea is that, say, you have a whole suburb and everyone has fire insurance. So if their house catches on fire, whatever is destroyed in the fire is insured and replaced. Well, the idea is that if you have a whole suburb, say, let's say 1,000 people, have fire insurance, the idea is that not all 1,000 people are going to have their houses catch on fire at once. Maybe 5 people a year will have their house catch on fire, but you have 1,000 people subsidizing those 5 people. That's the risk pool. The larger the risk pool, the more subsidies you give to the people that actually need the insurance. So if you have a risk pool that is expanded into the entire country, every citizen pays into it. Not every citizen is going to need healthcare all the time. Young people typically don't need to have 16 doctor's visits a month. So that money that they are spending that subsidizes the entire healthcare industry will be better used and dispersed based on need and not based on if you're rich or have rich parents.
Wait, but isn't that the need right there?
Yeah, it's based on need and not wealth.
Right, but isn't wealth how much you need it?
What?
Okay, so if you have a lot of wealth, you probably don't need free healthcare.
What?
Okay, so like I don't have a ton of wealth, right?
Uh-huh.
So I can't pay for healthcare or deductibles or just like the insurance and stuff. But there are people who can, and so they don't need the free stuff because they have wealth.
Well, we have one system. This is where the risk pool comes into it. See, the
And
thing is, you're conflating and confusing a private health system with your doctor. Your doctor is still going to be there. Your doctor doesn't change. In fact, we would have more doctors and more options because if you've ever used health insurance, you know not every doctor is covered in every network. Not every pharmacy is covered in every network. So you have to go pick and choose and fly around town. And every few months the policies change and you have to get a new doctor and get a new pharmacy. This is how it works for me. It's annoying as fuck and I hate it. So in a world where you have a Medicare for all system, you can choose which you want. So you're not going to lose. There's no like free stuff doctor versus premium doctor. That's how we are now.
Well, I've been going to the same doctor for 31 years, so I don't.
Okay.
I don't really know a lot about that, which is probably why I don't know much about or I know a lot about, but the medical system and like how that stuff works because I've been going to the same sleepy doctor's office and getting my stuff done there and getting, I go to specialists, of course, and stuff like that, but my general care position is.
How would you feel if I were to use a word you may find offensive, but how do you feel about the word privilege?
That's so funny that you say that.
Is that funny?
Yeah, because this one of my friends is jumping down my throat right now because I said that I forget how privileged they are. But yeah, I think that it's an incredible privilege that I get free healthcare from the state. It's an incredible gift, and I'm very thankful for it. I can't express to you enough how gracious and just like how thankful I am that I have this privilege because I'm not great with this particular subject. And if I was required to do anything, I would probably mess it up. So the fact that this is all taken care of is great.
The idea is that most people are in your situation. Most people are not super educated on the medical system. but also most people don't have the situation that you're in.
Why?
Why? I don't know. Without going
I don't think
into
there's anything
intensive-
special about my situation.
I don't know anything about your biography, but I can tell you there's tons of people that just don't have their free prison insurance or whatever the fuck you got. I don't know.
Well, it's just state insurance. Like, it's just like the
Is it Medicaid?
Washington State Health Plan.
Medicare?
No, it's just Washington State Health Plan.
Well, I don't live in Washington State, so I don't know anything about
There's also
that.
an Oregon Health Plan,
Okay.
and I don't know what California.
Okay.
But you want to risk that healthcare
What healthcare?
and risk the you want to risk those state health plans.
You understand that they're paying for the healthcare. They aren't providing the healthcare. They are paying for it. You understand that chief difference, right? It's not like Washington State is got an elite team of special operatives training doctors that are dispatching to your location. It's those doctors are there, they've been there, and the Washington State insurance system subsidizes them for your visit. Also, there's a little echo going on.
So, can you explain that more?
The doctors are going to be there regardless of what happens. No, we're not risking the healthcare. We're risking the method of paying for that healthcare. And I would argue it's not a risk. Because there's nothing that can be lost of value.
According to you.
Well, just basic economics when it comes to what a risk pool is and how insurance works. If you have all 350 million people paying into the same pool, it's just going to be cheaper. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. That's why do you think Washington State insurance is free for you? Because other people subsidize it.
That was my point. Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, so we should have more and more people subsidize it so more and more people can get free insurance. Chances are the most people that we started this conversation with drug addicts and people that engage in high-risk behavior. Chances are, if those people could just go to a doctor for free and without judgment and without worry about what's going to happen to them in a negative light, that they would go. I know several people that are drug addicts, but if they go to a doctor for their specific addiction, they'll probably be sent to prison, and they wouldn't be able to pay for the medical bills regardless because they don't have insurance.
Well, that is actually a problem. If you... Let me think about this for a second.
All right.
If you have addiction and you go to the doctor and you tell them that you have an addiction or that you use drugs, that goes on your record and it will haunt you forever.
Exactly. Hence, they should be able to go without fear of judgment.
But I don't see how that'll ever be possible.
Why not?
I just don't see how it could be. Like,
So are you advocating that we should just not find a solution?
Well, do you have a solution?
Well, the one I just provided to you, a Medicare for all system.
But that's not going to change the records and the stigma.
Well, it would if it's listed as a medical issue. In, I believe, Portugal, they have legalized certain drugs and have classified them in certain ways so that this exact situation that you talk about doesn't happen.
If only we lived in Portugal.
Somehow they can do it, but I guess it's impossible over here, right?
I mean, it's not going to be easy. Here's the thing. Like, do you understand that nothing ever goes according to plan? Like, why should I believe that the government is going to get this right? Why should I trust the government? do this.
Don't you already trust the government?
Yeah, but I have it already. It's working right now. You're saying you want me to give that up for a chance at a pipe dream? Why should anybody vote for that?
Well, first of all, you acknowledge that this exact system works in other countries. So, it's less of a pipe dream and more of just looking at data and science and facts. Define works is if you are poor or low income and you have a medical issue, you get that medical issue taken care of. That's what I mean by works.
Okay, the NHS system in the UK was so outdated that it got hit by a ransomware attack, and they had to go buy paper and whiteboards for like 3 months. Like,
okay,
there's no financial incentive there, so it's just it all is.
Do you know why that would happen?
Why?
Because people in your situation wanted to underfund the NHS and also not upgrade their infrastructure during the Blair governments and so forth?
No, you don't understand. Like, I like the healthcare system as it is. I like that it's funded, and it's funded because people are pay into it.
If you were a single mother that had a cancer diagnosis and no health insurance, would you feel the same way?
Hopefully. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what health insurance I get.
No, if you had no health insurance.
Like, let's be fair, okay? Because the thing is that obviously, clearly, you have some personal stake, or you feel very strongly about this.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, and just keep it real for a second.
Keeping it real?
The individuals who you are speaking about, who are in these horrible situations with no options and little relief or recourse, those people have other functioning issues.
So it's personal responsibility?
Yes, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
So, if someone is born into the wrong family, and that family, say they died in a car crash, and they didn't have that much money to pass on to their child, and so that's that child's fault, that they don't have health insurance, that their parents died? That's their fault, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, who else's fault would it be?
It could be nobody's fault. It could just be that we live in a fucked up world. So you're saying
if you're a
10-year-old, if you're a 10-year-old and your parents are on a date and your babysitter is watching you, and your parents die in a car crash on the way to a restaurant, that's your fault?
Obviously, I don't understand. What are you saying? Yeah, obviously. Why wouldn't it be the 10-year-old's fault? Like, if he's just sitting there getting babysat, not keeping his parents from getting killed in a car accident, obviously I'm willing to say that he should be charged criminal. I'm kidding, obviously.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure.
But it was a ridiculous thing that you said there just now. And
how is that ridiculous? Stuff like that happens every single day. And that's just obviously a hyperbolized and simplified version.
Yeah, and clearly I'm not in favor of anybody suffering. I want everybody to have the best possible healthcare. Possible.
Well, again, these systems function in almost every other country that exists. So?
No, they don't.
No?
Have
you lived in another country? Name one?
Well, no, I haven't. But name a country that worked.
Scotland?
I'm not familiar.
Oh, Canada?
Canada, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, Canada fucking sucks.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Listen, they have to wait oh, God. Have you ever been there?
I have not. I know people in Canada.
Same. But it's god-awful. Here's the thing, though. I don't think we're going to see eye to eye on healthcare, but I have figured out a lot about you in these last few moments. So let me
if you want to shift, we can shift.
Yeah, I got a good direction.
Let's go in that one direction that you are.
All right. So What do you think about white people?
I mean, you need more context for that?
What do you think about white people who are white?
I'm guessing we're both white. Can we get
I'm
that
white.
on? I am also extremely white. So
What do you think about your?
what do I think about white people? I think the same thing I think about every other people. Like, you're not giving me any context. Like, if you want to say what I think about white people historically or in
Sure,
specific time
sure.
periods, we can have a conversation. But white people, I mean,
Historically, sure.
well, give me in some context. Like, what time period? During like colonialization, maybe, or like what? What are we talking about?
What? Okay, let me give you. Let me just say, instead of being all cute about it, I'll just get right to what I'm getting.
Straight to the point. That's how I
Yeah.
like it.
Um, I believe that the people who are in your position are you mean well. I believe that you have a good heart.
Thank you.
However, there are individuals who. Okay, now let me word this differently.
Word it
There's
however you like.
there's three types of individuals
Three
in the
types.
it on the left. Like there's the leader, and the leader type they actually used to have or still harbor some secret animosity or hate or just negative feelings towards other races. They're racist, they're sexist, they're bad people at heart, but what they do is they know that like they can't be like that anymore obviously. And so they're trying to tell everybody else, "Oh yeah, you're bad," because secretly they're bad. Those are the leaders who call the shots, right? But then also there's another type of person, and that's the followers. And the followers basically are people who have gone through their whole life just echoing what people around them say. And those people find themselves attracted to leftist culture because it's nicer than the right. You know, it certainly sounds better. I want to believe that Medicare for all is possible, that everybody can have free healthcare and we all love each other and sing kumbaya. But it's not realistic. But nobody wants to be me in a situation. Nobody wants to be the person who's like, hey, no, that's not going to work. Bad. Um, so you have the leaders and the followers, and then you have people like you who are motivated by good intentions. You believe what you're saying is true, and the leaders have given you a directive. They say Medicare for all, Green New Deal, um, global warming, these things, and you pick them up, and you're like, okay, and you think about them, and you research them, and you're like, I identify with this. This is a message that I like, and I'm going to follow my leaders and get in line, and we're going to push this. And so nothing that I say or do is going to change your mind, and you are going off of something that you've just been told, kind of.
So, is that your thesis
That's it.
here? Okay,
That's the
so
whole thing.
are you implying that nobody here has free will or personal agency in these three categories?
Just the leaders.
So I don't have free will or personal agency?
You have free will. You can do whatever you wish, but you wish to do what you're told, essentially.
And what am I told? Who's
That
telling me this?
you're given the leaders of the Democratic, the old KKK members, the old like racists and homophobes and like the bad people who used to exist in the open now exist in the open, but they're impugning other people for the behavior that they exhibited in the past. Do you get what I'm saying?
You're telling me that me, not a hypothetical person, but you're telling me that I support the Democrats?
Oh, do you not?
And then let me go, this is a two-parter. And that the
Sure.
Democrats also support what I support?
Well, Democrat. When I say that, I don't mean necessarily the Democratic establishment, nor do I mean like a blue Democrat in the traditional. When I say Democrat, I mean somebody who's on the left in any capacity.
So when you say Democrat, you don't mean Democrat? What about the
Correct.
KKK comment?
So, obviously it's no secret that the Democrats or the left was the KKK back in the day. I mean, when it was
Okay,
popular, it was
wait. The Democrats or the left or both?
I don't really know how you would define them,
Were the
but they weren't
Democrats
on
a
the right.
leftist party?
Were the Democrats a leftist party?
Yeah, were they a leftist party when the KKK formed?
I don't know personally.
Are you familiar with the impeachment of Andrew Johnson?
Yeah, he's on the $20 bill, right?
No, that's Andrew Jackson.
Oh, okay. Then no.
Andrew Johnson was the vice president to Abraham Lincoln. Do you know what party Abraham Lincoln was in?
Yeah, he was a Republican, right?
Yes. The Republicans, after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, they had Andrew Johnson as president, who is a Democrat. And the Republicans of the time were trying to orchestrate Reconstruction, which freed the slaves and followed forth on what Lincoln wanted. However, Andrew Johnson, the new president, was a Democrat and did not like black people and so forth. He issued pardons to all Confederate soldiers and generals as one of his major things that broke against the Republican Party. The Republican Party wanted to establish voter rights for all citizens, except women, of course, but that's a whole nother story. Now, in this situation, if I weren't to say Republican or Democrat, would you be able to tell who is left and who is right in this context?
I mean, no, I guess not.
So what does this closely resemble? Leftism or rightism? I don't even know what rightism is, but does wanting to have black people have voter rights, is that a leftist idea or a right-wing idea?
Wait, black people have voter rights.
I'm talking about in the 1860s.
Oh, gotcha. That's a certainly a right-wing idea.
Expanding voter rights is a right-wing idea?
Well, in the 1850s or whatever you said. I mean, the Democrats were very racist back then. I mean, it was way different.
Yes. The
So,
Democratic
why would they want to
Party,
expand voter rights?
the Democratic Party was indeed a right-wing party in the 1860s.
Well, I guess depending on how you want to. I don't know if I would go that way.
The antithesis is the Republican Party, which in context was a left-wing party in the 1860s. If you contrast them with the Democratic Party, or as you might say, the Democrat Party. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, not really, but that's okay.
Well, what doesn't make sense about it?
Well, I think we've gotten a little bit away from the point. That's okay because I have another one.
Well, I mean, I want to understand your definitions of what leftism and Democrat
That's what this
mean.
is about.
Yes, this is about broaching your understanding of those two terms.
Sure. That's what my next question is about.
Okay, feel free.
When people say, so I know a little bit about leftist culture. I don't know a ton. I don't know if you know Vosh.
I've heard of this guy. I've watched maybe one video, but I don't watch YouTube too often. As a YouTuber, okay. I don't have time for that shit.
Got it. What about Pig Puncher?
I've never heard of that.
Xanderhall?
No idea.
What about Destiny?
I've heard of them, and I've seen a few clips, and they look like a dumb motherfucker.
Uh-huh. How about well, it doesn't really matter. The point is that these are the leftists that I've come into contact with and debated.
Destiny, a leftist?
Well, yeah, he's on the left.
All right.
See, this is why this is what I'm getting at. So, what is leftism to you? What is the core values?
Well, I would prefer if you told me first, so I can base my answer around your understanding. What is leftism
I just said
to
that
you?
I don't know.
You don't know, so you have no basis whatsoever?
Well, I just said the basis that I have. I've debated Fosh, Pig Puncher, Destiny, and I've talked to these people, and like they've tried to explain things to me, and I've done my best to learn.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that like I couldn't tell you like what leftism stands for or what its end goal is. I just couldn't because I don't know.
Leftism is essentially the furthest form of leftism would be anarchism or communism, which are equal rights for all citizens with no power dynamics or hierarchies. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
So there would be no rich people and there would be no poor people. Everyone would be equal. It wouldn't be equal access, it would be equality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, I understood it before.
Okay. So if that's my definition of leftism, I can't really tell you anything about your other conversations. The only person I've seen clips of is Destiny, and he's a dumbass. I would not consider him a leftist in any capacity. So I'm heavily skeptical of you using him as an example of leftism. And you also equated modern-day Democrats to the KKK, which is definitely historically illiterate, I would say. But we didn't get to finish my analogy there.
No, I mean it's one of those situations, where, like I was saying, we're so far apart, and I feel like
who's we? You and me, or people as a whole?
Me and you.
All right.
Thank you for whispering that into my ear. I don't necessarily think that you value my perspective. I think that you have made up your mind about a lot of things, and that like you're kind of educating me, not debating.
I think that's projection.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
You don't agree with that?
I do not agree with that. For us to have a debate, I think we need to have equal understanding of what we're debating. So I'm educating you in the sense that I'm providing you with my basis for these terms that we are using and contrasting them with the way that you're using terms. For example, you said leftist and Democrat as if they were interchangeable and not as if they were different things with historically different positions over time. I'm trying to clarify that that's not what those terms mean to me and also to history as well. So I'm not so much educating you in a sense of I think I'm better than you. I'm more so evening the playing field so we can have a conversation that we can both understand more effectively.
Sure. And listen, I wasn't complaining by any means. I don't know how open you are to change, I guess.
Well, considering I want to completely overhaul the way the entire government is structured, I would say I'm relatively open to the concept.
What about this? Would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to design a ideal, like a utopia, like the government system, how things would be run, and you can put as much effort into it or as little effort into it as you want.
Like playing SimCity, for example?
Kind of, in a way. And we'll come back and we can either reschedule we can schedule for a different date, or we could do it later today or whatever. But I'm just saying that,
I mean, I've already got all this figured out for the most part. So, I mean, I can do this right now.
I mean, I haven't figured mine out, though, but I have, a really good idea, and I'm really together. And plus, the thing is that I have, a really, really good video setup, so, I could, stream and like show some images and like actually give you some good content. Now that I got a feel for who you are and what you're about, if I had a second to like absorb all of this and regroup, I think that
Okay.
we could have a fun discussion.
Sure.
I mean, if you're interested, by all means, if you're just like, this dude's boring as fuck, feel free to yeet me out of here.
Feel free to what?
Yeet me out of here.
Can you spell that?
YEET.
Okay. I don't really know what that
Yeet.
means.
It just means throw.
You said you're how old? 31?
Yeah, 31. Good job.
Interesting. Okay.
My name's Apollonius.
I am 23, for reference.
Holla.
Yeah?
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 23. Never mind. Doesn't work.
Does
It's a
not
Taylor
work.
Swift song.
I don't follow Taylor Swift.
Oh, you don't? You don't follow Queen Tay?
I'm afraid not.
I don't think anybody's ever called her Queen Tay before, but I just made that.
So, if we're going to
let's-
reschedule before we do that, I would like to, because earlier, when you gave me topics to debate, you talked about PC culture,
Yeah,
and I would love to get an understanding of what you mean by PC culture.
totally. I'm not in any rush. I have all the time in the world. So anything that you want to ask, I'm
Well-
here. I appreciate you taking the time and listening to different opinions. I respect that. And so I'm not in any way trying to rush.
All right, so just feel free. We can continue from this point. What's PC culture?
PC culture. PC culture is the stigma around different opinions that perhaps might bristle some feathers. There's a thing in the air right now. There's a virus infecting, well, literally, but I'm talking
Are we
about
talking about the
figuratively.
coronavirus or
No.
Okay.
I understand that like literally there is, but I meant figuratively. There's a mind virus that is like infected society right now, where we are all afraid of saying the wrong thing or upsetting people, and we're babying and infantiling these young people and shielding them from harsh words or bad environments, and it's gone way too far. It's a negative, horrible, self-destructive tendency to create false outrage.
So, can you give me an example
Sure.
of someone saying or being afraid to say what culture says is the wrong thing? So what would they be afraid to say?
So for example, like, with good example, with, do you know about the Onision situation?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there's this guy on YouTube, Onision. His wife is, or he's dating somebody who is trans,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like this contingent of people where nobody knows how to, like, because they used to be a girl at some point in the timeline of events, and then they transitioned to being a boy, and there's a lot of people who are very violent in their enforcement of those pronouns, and that happens everywhere. I mean, the pronouns thing is everywhere. All of that is
Define violent.
aggressive, shouting, threatening.
And enforcing what pronouns?
Just the ones that they wish to have. Like, I'm not wording this great because the questions aren't framed properly for me.
Feel free to
Why don't
reframe
you-
it.
Yeah. Why don't we go about this in a different way? Why don't we talk about an experience? Why don't you go first? Tell me about an experience that you've had with PC culture, and then I'll tell you one.
Well, my thing is I don't really even know what PC culture is. That's why it's hard for me to have this conversation without you giving me like a full-fledged example.
Why don't I go first then? And
So
I'll talk
you go
about something that
first?
happened to me personally.
All right.
Let me think really quick about a good one. because I want to have it juicy for your stream. You edit, right?
I edit? I'm going to upload
Like
this
you're gonna cut out the
unedited?
dead parts.
No.
Okay.
That's way
Well,
too much work.
I'll think
Who do you
quickly.
think
Hold
I
on.
am? Jeez.
Let's see. Okay.
That would be censoring. I do not want to censor the dead parts.
I'm trying to think. I know I have some good ones, but it's just like, of course, now that I'm on the spot, I can't think.
I mean, you've been on the spot the whole time.
True.
Reality.
That is. Oh my god! I have the best one. Okay. So, I met this girl, and she.
Were you outside? Like, were you at a bar?
No, on Facebook.
On Facebook? Okay.
And she was like into me at first, right? And she was making sexual comments and just really feeling me and like wanting me to come over, all this stuff. And then she was telling me about her birthdays, or her daughter's birthdays actually. And I had mentioned that the off-brand superhero balloons that she was getting were like Mexican superheroes. And she took offense because I was saying that they were Mexican superheroes as opposed to just superheroes. But they weren't like licensed DC or Marvel superheroes. It was just like boom, pow, like comic book, And
did you know that they were Mexican superheroes, or did you use Mexican as a
yeah,
filler
I just use
word?
Mexican as like a filler because it's like we live in an area where like it's common to see like Mexican birthdays, and that's common like theme. It's like a Mexican superhero.
I don't know, but I'll try to understand. I think
And so
I
like
understand.
she took offense to that, and then like all of a sudden, like I was this bad person who like made her feel uncomfortable and how she felt used and all of this shit just because like I had offended her, and now all of the stuff from before was suddenly cast into a negative light. And it's like at the end of the day, she's an SJW, like and taking offense to way too much.
Okay,
and
so
she needs to take a breather.
Can we define SJW?
Social justice woman. No, warrior.
Say that again?
Warrior. Social justice warrior.
Warrior. Okay. So she cast you with a broad brush. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it's kind of a really narrow brush. It was like,
yeah, I mean, well, she cast you with a narrow brush based on an assumption, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, so she made broad generalizations about who you are based on a narrow circumstance?
Yeah, based on PC nonsense.
Would you reckon that you calling her an SJW is not the same thing in reverse? How do you know that she is a social justice warrior? Like, have you seen her go to a march for civil rights? Like, where did you get this information from?
No, but she was posting about how she was happy that the turbans are allowed in the U.S. military now.
Okay.
That's pretty social justice warrior.
I don't know where the warrior comes into to play there. Like
because
making
of the military, duh. Ciao, ciao.
I mean, that's a good one. But I mean, like making a comment on Facebook saying like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty neat." I don't know if that's a warrior. I consider a warrior maybe somebody who runs a non-profit organization that feeds homeless people or something. I would consider that maybe a warrior, but I don't know about posting a Facebook comments. I mean, that doesn't seem warrior-ish unless you're using warrior as a sarcastic thing.
Oh wait, have you never heard the term social justice warrior?
I'm just wanting you to define the terms. I don't have definitions for these terms. I hear them all the time, but no one really ever says what they mean. So
it's like social justice warrior is like somebody who is, even this girl will tell you that she stands up for other people. She likes to speak up for people who she feels don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
She likes to take offense on other people's behalf, and she doesn't mind doing that. everybody has dealt with those cringy people who like totally make shit just super weird and awkward over like something that wasn't even happening, and they just totally took it out of context, and now everybody knows people who do that. And those people are most likely social justice warriors because they do the same thing, but it's with PC social situations that are totally bogus, that have no validity outside of fake outrage. And the reason why these people are fake outraged, the reason why they see these things in this light, the reason why it's so easy for them to take offense is because they're the bad guys.
Wait, they're the bad guys?
Yes, they're the bad guys. That's why they are so ready to just jump the gun at the first sign of something non-PC, because in their head, they see that way. Birds of a feather flock together, and they're just like,
So
oh, yeah,
okay,
I recognize that.
let me restate some information here.
Sure.
So, would you, if you were to paint these social justice warriors with a brush, would it be Democrat or leftist?
Democrats or left?
Which one would you say is more accurate?
Can you give me another? Can you extrapolate on that just a little bit more? I'm not sure I understand.
Would you say that people who act in that fashion that you're describing, like cringy, over polite, correcting people stuff, would you say they are more likely to say vote for Democrats, or maybe just not vote really, or be leftists and not really like the Democratic Party? Because earlier you were talking
that's
about
a hard question.
Leftists and Democrats are the same. So I'm trying to gauge, is this more of a leftist thing or more of a Democratic thing? Or Democrat? Demon rat?
God, I really don't know the answer to that, to be honest.
So, okay, do you remember when Hillary got the nomination?
No, like, I understand the question. I don't know.
Well, let me just restate it a bit. Do you remember when Hillary got the nomination last time around?
Yeah.
And how there were a lot of people that were like, oh, if you vote for Bernie Sanders, you have to be a sexist, because Hillary would be the first woman president, and therefore, you know, that's great in social progress. Now, would those people be SJWs?
Yeah. Oh.
Say that again? You cut out a bit?
Yeah, probably.
Now, what about the other people on that opposing spectrum, given that Bernie Sanders, policy-wise, is more of a leftist candidate, and the people that support him do support actual social justice measures, given that healthcare for all citizens would give people justice. For example, legalizing marijuana and expunging criminal records would be social justice. But which one would you say is? Which is more of a social justice warrior trait? Wanting a female president or expunging criminal records that were wrongfully convicted?
Yeah, God, no. We could talk extensively about the legal system sometime too. I know a lot about it.
Okay.
But I would have to go with probably the Hillary Clinton like voting female president thing, because that's the obvious choice.
Okay. So would you say that leftists then in this diametrically opposed situation are less likely to be social justice warriors? By the definition that you've given social justice warriors, even though in a literal sense they are more social justice warrior. Say that again. You cut out.
No, you cut out there. I didn't.
Like, okay, so given that the term social justice warrior is not literal, right? Like, it doesn't mean people are actually trying to achieve social justice, right? It's kind of like a sarcastic thing. So would you say it does not apply to people that want actual social justice?
That's no, no. I don't think that we can get in there and like decide what's valid social justice and what's not, because the cringe is still the same, isn't it?
Well, what's cringe? Like, is
Like
social justice cringe, or are
yeah,
social justice
pretty much yeah.
warriors cringe?
Well, like both.
So what is cringe about having voting rights for people that were wrongfully convicted of a crime they did not commit? What is cringe about that?
Listen, I'll be the first person to admit the justice system can't be fixed. It needs to be burnt down.
Okay. But
But
that's cringe, right? You want
no,
social justice to prevail over a
no, but
criminal incarceration system. So that's cringe.
no, but here's the thing. Like
So what's not cringe about it?
I I'm not motivated by a desire to virtue signal or get any sort of like points or awards or favor or money. Like when
Okay.
I talk about the legal system, it's because I personally have suffered under the fake ass legal system,
Sure.
and it's a subject that's really close to my heart, you know.
Mhm.
And on top of that, anything that I talk about, especially like or anything that I do when I go and volunteer at you know the shelters or at the homeless well, when I said shelters, I meant animal shelters, but the homeless shelters too. And when I go and like do things out in the community or do Meals on Wheels or whatever, that's like that's not me doing social justice. That's just me helping out.
That's
You know, doing what I can.
definitionally though, like that is social justice. Like making sure that poor and hungry people have food to eat. I mean, that fits the bill on social justice, does it not?
I'm sure it does, but the thing is
The
it's
core
all about
difference
how
is that
you
you're not doing it for points. Is that your basic
right.
thing? Like you're doing it to be a good person?
And I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to. I'm not doing it with the thought of like, hey, this is social justice.
Do you think anyone, for the most part, like let's go back to the terrain of leftism. Like, do you think people in the Bernie Sanders campaign, for example, want to give high-speed internet to people in rural counties that don't have good internet infrastructure? Do you think they're doing that because of social justice points, like getting a higher rank on the leaderboard? Or do you think they're doing that because they want people that are in the countryside to have access to the internet and more information and health and all kinds of news and everything that the internet carries with it?
Yeah, it's not that one. It's not the latter. Um,
It's not
here's
the
the thing.
latter?
No.
So they want it for the leaderboard points.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that. Here's what I would say, and this is with just your information. I'm not. I don't have any other understanding of the situation outside of what you just explained. But
Okay.
but likely, first of all, everybody always acts in their own self-interest. Like nobody's gonna go against their best interest ever.
I
And it's just like
dispute that. I would
I'm sure
say
that there's
commonly, and for the most part, that's a rule, but I would definitely say that there are exceptions to that rule.
yeah, I'm sure there are. I was being kind of hyperbolic there, and I'll concede that
Okay.
there are probably exceptions to that. But that doesn't change the fact that people act in their own self-interest. If they're bringing internet to people in rural areas, it's to push propaganda or to get them to watch campaign ads or to do something.
You
There's
don't
a
think
purpose
people
behind
would
it.
just do that out of the kindness of their heart?
No, where's their self-interest?
The self-interest would be allowing people that are in situations that are less likely than or less fortunate than theirs to have the same luxuries. That would be the motivation.
Okay, well, I mean, you're welcome to believe that if you want, but I think that there's more to it.
Are you would you classify yourself as a conspiracy theorist by chance?
No, but I can call it how I see it.
Well, I mean, I don't know, you're kind of attributing a rather nefarious motive to that, I would say. Like,
I
so
don't.
should we have say, okay, so if anyone were to ever expand infrastructure in rural communities that do not have good internet lines, they don't have fiber optic cables and so forth. So anyone that would want to expand those things shouldn't, because it would be self-interest. That wouldn't that be like a feedback loop or a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I'm surprised. I've never heard anybody else say that self-fulfilling prophecy. I say that all the time. No, it wouldn't, because the thing is that like, no, it wouldn't. It's just like the situation with the with the 10-year-old. It's like clearly these people brought this on themselves, and they have their own stuff to deal with, and they need to handle that on their own.
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, but the thing is my neighbors are acting super weird, and I wanted to go over there and check on it. So I was just like, like trying to end on a positive note.
Are you? Is that like not a hypothetical? Are you saying this legitimately?
What the
Like, do you
neighbors
want to
thing?
leave?
Well, just like temporarily.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, is that here? Why don't we? What are you doing today?
I don't know.
Give me give me 2 hours. In 2 hours, I'll set up a video stream. I'll set up a whole setup for you, and we'll redo this in a more interesting, more like formatted debate. Now that we know each other, now that we get each other's styles, and I'll put some pretty graphics up and some visual, entertaining stuff for you.
All right.
You're gonna put this on YouTube, right?
Sure.
Okay, sure. So I'm gonna send you a list of things that we're gonna talk about, and you can edit it or add to it what you want.
And you want to do it in a more structured format?
Yeah, because we're gonna know about what we're gonna talk about beforehand, so
Sure
we can
thing.
prepare a little bit more.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll talk to you in 2 hours.
Okay.
Hey, I really respect you doing it. It's very big of you.
I try my best.
Have a good day,
All
and
right.
I'll talk to you soon.
I will see you soon.